Hey, did you ever force your loved ones to host your birthday party at a cemetery? Is your family concerned that the black clothes and aggressive emo-over isn't just a phase?
Positive face, man! It's a lifestyle! 'Cause I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria Kelly.
Well, congratulations! You might be a grave cleric. But what is a grave cleric? Well, grab a shovel, make a stop at Party City, and prepare to bring down the mood at every get-together, cause we're 1 foot in the grave. Death is a part of life. Yikes. I know, right? This is a real bummer of an episode. But it doesn't have to be. Since there's no use in trying to outrun the inevitable, why not embrace the idea that the transition to the great beyond is something natural and, for most, very peaceful? Not to harp on the sad part too long, but it does make sense to live the most you can while you still can. That's where the Grave Cleric comes in. You see, despite what the chains and weird hair dye may lead you to believe, the Grave Cleric's focus is to preserve the sanctity of life still yet to be lived, and destroy anyone who dares desecrate its natural timeline. So how does that make you different from a regular cleric? I mean, don't all clerics seek to preserve life? Well, except for the one who does literally the opposite. Yes and no. While many clerics pray to gods or the existence of universal truths like knowledge, life, or the Force, your focus is something every creature will eventually experience. In many ways, this makes you less like a deacon at a small-town Baptist church named Ted who grills pretty subpar hot dogs and is rude to the waitstaff at Golden Corral, and more like a Grim Reaper or Shinigami from folklore, which is obviously much cooler. But first, are you tired of internet browsers and random entities trying to collect your information? Wouldn't you sleep better at night knowing you're protected from hackers trying to invade your internet privacy? Well, if so, NordVPN has exactly what you need. And if you think about it, why shouldn't everybody be using a VPN? Browsing the internet is much like driving down the interstate, but not having internet protection is like driving without airbags. In today's fast-paced world, you never know what Wi-Fi your phone or laptop may be connected to, and that opens the door for hackers to try to steal your credit card passwords or personal information. NordVPN is the most popular and reliable VPN on the market, and also the fastest, letting you stay protected without missing a beat. Not only that, you also get other perks like changing your location, not just to throw off unwanted internet attention, but also get on Japanese Netflix and watch Spider-Man No Way Home? Really? Or hop onto British Netflix and watch Beans, the musical. Whatever your preference, you can go to this link at nordvpn.com/youmightbeadnd. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/youmightbeadnd, or follow the link in the description to get a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months. Stay safe browsing, and a big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring the show. Now, back to the video. So you've chosen to embrace the spooky and do the kooky-ooky. I don't know what it means either. Thankfully, you get way more than just the constant smell of dirt and some sick hats. In fact, at level 1, you get access to spellcasting and, of course, domain spells. Domain spells are spells unique to each cleric domain, and like an 18-pack of chips from Costco, come with some extreme flavor. All this to say these spells come prepared and do not count against your total, making them incredibly useful tools for a growing goth cleric. Here we get Bane and False Life, with Bane letting you subtract a d4 from attacks and saves on up to 3 creatures that fail a charisma save, and False Life letting you stave off death with 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points. While not game-breaking, they're both solid spells to keep the party out of grave danger. Anyway, speaking of keeping the party out of danger...
Congratulations. Chances just went from none to swim.
Because we just became the ultimate paramedic with Circle of Mortality. Now you can wait until the party barbarian takes one too many punches straight to the face and bring them back with a shit ton of hit points. Falling back on your connection to death, your healing spells get a huge boost when a creature hits 0, letting you forget about rolling your healing die and just using the maximum instead. And if that wasn't enough, you can cast Spare the Dying as a bonus action from a range of 30 feet, making sure that a creature is stable by the time you get there and hit him with a huge Cure Wounds. Most classes have trouble getting to double-digit hit points at this level, and we just got them from 0 to full in one spell. That's incredible. Rounding off level 1, you get Eyes of the Grave to allow you to detect undead within 60 feet until the end of your turn. It's kinda like a paladin's Divine Sense, but specifically toward bony boys and ghouly girls. Second level gets us Channel Divinity, and you can of course do the turn undead cleric thing to hurt the feelings of every zombie within 30 feet, but save that for the minor league boys, cause we just got Path to the Grave. Not only does this feature have one of the hardest ability names of all time, it allows you to point at a creature and curse them with pretty imminent death. your curse will amplify the next attack, making said creature take double damage. So that's it, right? I mean, that's all we needed. Pack it up, boys, we're done here. Roll up a real sneaky cleric, pair it with an assassin rogue, and just double crits with that stupid sneak attack bonus, and watch bad guys go from people to meat sacks faster than you can say, "Oh, that's gotta hurt!" But really, in all seriousness, this ability is just so freaking cool, and like a real Reaper, it lets you just mark a creature for death. I mean, how does it get better than that, man? Just make sure you pick the right turn to set this off. That way you make your enemy vulnerable to a wizard's fireball and not a wizard's wet slap. You also get Harness Divine Power to instead recover spell slots by spending a Channel Divinity, but don't do that, just make people die fast, that's way more fun. At 3rd level we get 2 more domain spells, both of which are cool, but there's just not that much to say about them. Gentle Repose lets you touch a corpse, ew, to protect it from decaying for 10 days, and Ray of Enfeeblement makes an enemy's attacks that use the strength stat only do half damage. What's cool is that this spell is a ray, letting you roll to hit rather than let the creature make the save, meaning that even when fighting a dragon, you may get at least 1 round of physical attacks being less potent, which is really nice. 5th level makes Turn Undead Destroy Undead, because if you listen to the lyrics, you'll know skeletons weren't invited to the Monster Mash, but we also get 2 more domain spells. You get Revivify, which really should be on every cleric's list, or, you know, what's the point? But you also get Vampiric Touch, which I think is pretty cool, but everybody apparently hates. By concentrating your necrotic energy, you can smack a target for 3d6 damage and then recover hit points equal to half of that. It's also concentration, so you can keep it going as long as you stay up. While usually reserved for squishy wizards and sorcerers, I think this spell actually fits you pretty well, letting you just drain guys all day. Yeah, I heard it. Can we just... Okay, so you know how Path to the Grave is awesome and how it would absolutely suck if someone did that to an ally? Well, at 6th level, not only can you ground an enemy and put them down for a dirt nap, you can also save a friend from that same fate with Sentinel at Death's Door. Anytime you see a crit within 30 feet, you can just snap your fingers and turn it into a normal hit, canceling any effects that go along with the crit. All at the cost of just a reaction. See, you're not just a harbinger of death, you've got a soft side under all that face paint. But at this level, you can also channel Divinity twice to send more people to the grave. Oh well, alright then. 7th level gets us yet 2 more domain spells. Blight is a ton of fun for a meaty 8d8 necrotic damage to living creatures, meaning undead and constructs aren't affected, but trees take max damage? I don't know how many treants you're gonna piss off on your adventure, but if you rolled up a grave cleric who has a mad beef with a nature cleric, this might be a great way to ruin their day. You also get Death Ward, which is a really fantastic spell, letting you protect a creature for 8 hours from falling to 0 hit points, letting them pop back up to 1 instead. And while an extra shield while fighting bad guys is the obvious choice, I like to cast this before taking a long walk off a short ledge and just doing some Wile E. Coyote shit. 8th level gets you potent spellcasting or Blessed Strikes, but just take Blessed Strikes. You're not going to be using a weapon very often, but you could probably use that extra 1d8 radiant damage per cantrip, which is just a nice boost. 9th level gets us our last 2 domain spells with Anti-Life Shell and Raise Dead. Anti-Life Shell lets us blow a big bubble of protection from living creatures trying to get into melee range. The shell's 10-foot radius will push unwanted creatures out, but weirdly doesn't work on undead, which is like a whole thing for you. Raise Dead is a rich man spell, letting you bring back a fallen ally at the cost of a fat 500 gold diamond. This of course forces us to ask the age-old question, should I spend this money to bring back the barbarian who keeps running face first into fireballs, or should I finally treat myself to that PlayStation 5?
Treat yourself!
But at 10th level we can finally talk to the God of Death. And what do we say to the God of Death?
Not today.
No, we say please. In fact, we ask pretty hard for a divine favor that only has a 1 in 10 chance of succeeding. This lets you ask your god, or more specifically your DM, to help you in a time of extreme need. This can be in the form of a cleric or domain spell, or whatever your DM sees fit. You can get weird with it too, asking for anything from a new temple to a bowl of hot tomato soup and the perfect grilled cheese. But it's up to your DM to determine if grilled cheeses are within your deity's domain. Levels 11 through 16 aren't much to write home about, just boring spells like Heal, Harm, Firestorm, and Sunburst, nothing too special. But at 17th level we become the Keeper of Souls. Because we've made it our job to help guide mortal souls to whatever lays beyond, you've also become adept at borrowing a little of their energy on the way out. Now whenever a creature dies within 30 feet, you can send hit points equal to the dead's number of hit dice to you or an ally. Like Chiron taking his toll for the ferry ride, imagine this as your small payment for getting lost souls to their final rest. 18th level lets us channel divinity 3 times a day, and finally at 20th level you get perfect divine intervention, so we can definitely get that grilled cheese. Or help the innocent or whatever. Hold on. So what makes a Grave Cleric so special? I mean, obviously this is a rhetorical question, but even for me it's stupid. The Grave Cleric is top tier because it's just that f***ing good. Love him or hate him, the subclasses that came out of Tasha's and Xanathar's almost always seem to slap, and this one is really no exception. I keep joking about Sam Elliott from Ghost Rider just being a Grave Cleric, but I'm right. This subclass is so immediately understandable from a player perspective that it's easy to dive into the theming and then flesh out your dream character from there. And that's not even mentioning the mechanical aspects of the Grave Cleric. You are an incredible healer with the Circle of Mortality, a buff and debuff machine with Path to the Grave and Sentinel at Death's Door, and a rootin' tootin' spell shootin' powerhouse just by the virtue of being a cleric. You heal good, you fight good, and you protect your friends. And isn't that what being a cleric is all about? So if you like My Chemical Romance just a bit too much, can predict the exact date and time of a bad guy's death because you're the one who's gonna do it, and are so ready for Halloween you've already planned out your next 6 jack-o'-lanterns, guess what? You might be a Grave Cleric. Hey guys, as always, a huge thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I always have a hard time figuring out what to say at the end of these, but if you like my stuff, subscribe to see more, and check out the poll to vote on what you want to see next, and as always, have a good one, and I'll see you very soon.